Now, the rest of the story.
All right, welcome back. Now, in last night's video, you saw me getting into some trouble. Well, in the video, I wasn't exactly in trouble, but I was about to. So, I took the tractor home last night. I cut a bunch of those. I have 2 grass patches down at my place that I wanted to hit with the Rhino 4155 and get cleaned up. I did the last one, or the first one last night. I did that until about, well, it was about 9 o'clock by the time it was 8:30 by the time I got done, because it was getting fairly dark by then. And then I went out about 9 o'clock this morning. I cut until 12:30. I got everything down at my place done. I had a hydraulic issue I had to address, which in the end turned out to be nothing at all. So I was getting ready to leave again because I was going to go up and cut some grass 10 miles away. I had a visitor, family friend. Sat and talked to him for a little bit. I think it was actually more than a little bit, to be honest with you. Literally wasn't watching the clock and really didn't think much of it until I got ready to go out and finish cutting what grass I wanted to do. Well, I noticed that the tire on the 7600 was getting a little low. Not a lot. I mean, just looking through the camera, it probably doesn't seem like much. But comparing it to that tire, it is getting a little bit low. Well, earlier, it was quite a bit lower, especially after sitting for like 2 hours. Well, I figured I'm gonna go ahead and pump the tire up because I didn't know if it was just getting low from running it or what the deal was. Well, after I got done and it had all the pressure built up in it, I heard a distinct hiss. And not like a hissing from the air hose, because our air hose is getting kind of beat up where the seal is kind of out of it. But there's a pretty distinct crack right here. I actually took a marker and I outlined it because I can feel air coming out of it. I'm not sure what I hit. I mean, it's a pretty good slice if you ask me. I don't know if it was a fence post, like a steel stake. It could have been a tree limb, but that looks like it was more of a metal object if you ask me. Where I was at, I was in a heavily grown up pasture. I hadn't let the cows out to it yet because it's one of those pastures that I typically wait until the end of the summer to let the cows out into. Plus the trees were getting pretty bad in it, so I went through and I had a bunch of saplings that I took out with extreme prejudice. That Rhino cutter works awesome for clearing out pastures. But I got a tire fix call on Monday that I gotta figure out what they can do. It's being a slice like that, I doubt they're gonna be able just to put a boot in it. For it being a slice like this, my current best case scenario, and we won't know much more until they actually break the bead and see what it actually looks like on the inside. But what I'm figuring is they'll probably end up putting a patch on the inside right under this slice. Let's just go ahead and we'll call it a slice. And then probably look at putting a tube in it. Granted, these are tubeless. There is no fluid in these tires. I am not a very big proponent for putting fluid in tractor tires, especially your chore tractors. I believe Dad did put fluid in the 4640 inner rears, and that did help with the spinning we were having when we were chisel plowing with that. 7600, I opted for the paint chipping wheel weights. Granted, they're not as heavy as fluid, but this definitely was leaking when I was still down in the pasture. So if I would have had a water leak coming out of this tire, that means I would have been probably dead in the water down there, and I would have had salt, you know, salt water, all over my tire, all over my tractor, all over my rims. And I don't want that. It pains me to actually drive this tractor in the winter. It never did. It had a brand new, it was about a $3,000 paint job on it. A brand new, very nice paint job on it, because for those of you that don't know, this tractor actually served the first 4,500 hours of its life on an airport, so the tractor was painted orange. If I took the time and actually had a flashlight, I could actually show you parts under the hood that are still orange. But driving the tractor on the salty roads in the middle of the winter kind of starts to take its toll on it. I've actually already gone through and touched up areas on it. You can see part of the rims, like down in there, part of the rims are starting to rust a little bit, so I'm gonna have to go through and clean those out. They actually delivered it in January when I bought it. Delivered it in January, specifically told them, wait. Do not deliver it when there's a snowstorm coming through. Wait until the roads have kind of been cleared off for a few days, so you're not bringing it down and get it just completely covered in crud. Well, that's exactly what they did, or didn't do. We literally just had a snowstorm, and the same day, the next day, they brought it down just completely covered in that ice melted slush. Just snow, salt, mud, just completely caked across the whole tractor. The tractor was white. Brand new paint job, and it was white. I was a little upset, but there really wasn't much I could do about it at that time. I actually got a really nasty cold that resulted in me standing out here in the lot with the hot water hose from the milk house trying to get the tractor all cleaned up. I did a really nice job, all things considered, but that was also one of those colds that I was so desperate to beat it and get over it that I actually, oh, here comes my mom, that I actually made the mistake, because I was milking cows morning and night, full time, and I got up in the morning for chores, couldn't feel my face, so I actually grabbed some, what I thought was Dayquil, but it was actually extra strength NyQuil that I doused a full heaping dose of it 10 minutes before I came up and started milking. Well, that was a instance of milking one morning of chores I'll never forget, because I literally was stepping between the cows, putting the milker on, and then at least our cows are mellow enough, because we have a stanchion barn where our cows were mellow enough that after I got done putting the milker on, I kind of put my head across the cow's back there and just kind of took like a 30-second power nap between each and every cow. That was the only way I made it through chores that morning, and I actually got back home. I didn't eat anything for breakfast, because I didn't eat breakfast until after chores anyway, and I ended up sleeping for like 2.5 hours when I got back home. Somebody checked out. I don't know if you guys can see Jack. I think he was cranky. I think she's looking for me. So yeah, it's never a dull moment. No good deed goes unpunished, I guess. Hey! And Rocket's keeping an eye out for everybody. So I took a load of dirt over to my sister's place, and I gotta load up the skid steer for him now so they can use it. But the 4020 and the barge box, the dirt wagon, was loaded up, and I was heading out, and Jack had to come out and wave bye to me. So he's definitely proven that he likes trucks and tractors, and he likes machinery. But I'm really surprised she's got him sleeping as good as she does. He's pretty wound for sound earlier. So Stay tuned. Granted, we really haven't been using this tractor this much here in the past 4 or 5, just say week. But this is the one tractor on the farm that I absolutely hate seeing down. I mean, during planting and harvest, I mean, it takes you out the knees having any machinery down, but those tractors at this time of year isn't the end of the world. This tractor, at any time throughout the 12 months of the year, that if I can't jump in it and use it, it's just kind of one of those grinding headaches where if something ever comes up like tomorrow, I'm gonna be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday, and I can think about 3 different jobs I would have liked to use this tractor for tomorrow. Now I can't, but oh well. It's not to the point where I'm about to go get all the tire changing equipment myself. We really don't have those many instances where it's that big a deal where we really need the tire changing stuff and patching a tire. The local tire center is literally 3 miles that way, and they do service calls, so they treat us pretty well. So, all right, I gotta load the skid steer up yet tonight. So, hope everybody enjoyed your weekend. I did. And stuff happens. I mean, if I can't work with that, I got more than enough other things to work on tomorrow that I'm still gonna keep moving. So, all right, you guys are watching the rest of the story. Take care, take it easy, keep in touch. I'll talk to you guys Tuesday.